I remember watching this movie when it came out with a bunch of my friends, and it made 13-year-old me nearly shit my pants. Let's do it. Butter is about this couple named Ben and Jane, and they just recently got married. Ben is a photographer, and he actually has a job in Japan, so he and Jane moved there from New York. One night, Jane is driving in the pitch black in the middle of the woods, and all of a sudden, this girl just shows up in the middle of the street, and Jane hits her with their car. They get out of the car, they call the police, and the girl is just nowhere to be found. So Jane's a little fucked up by the whole thing, but they try to move on until Ben starts noticing that all of his photos that he's taking have this weird light in them. At first, he thinks it's something just wrong with the film, but it starts to affect his job because any photo shoot that he does is ruined by this flash of light. Ben also starts to experience this weird neck pain and he goes to the doctor, but they can't tell what's wrong with him. But when he gets on a scale, they make it a point to show us that his weight is much higher than it should be, and they're very confused by it. So Jane starts getting concerned about these flashes of light that are showing up in literally every picture they take. So she brings the pictures to Ben's assistant. The assistant's ex-boyfriend runs this magazine that focuses on spirit photography, so they take the pictures to him. But basically, he's like, most of our pictures are faked, so there's really no way of telling if this is real or not. In these pictures where they are real, all of these lights are supposed to be spirits of the dead. Jane then forces Ben to go to this psychic medium who only speaks Japanese, and he says something to Ben which clearly freaks Ben out, and he refuses to translate and makes Jane leave and refuses to tell her what the guy said. So in one of the photos that Ben had taken where there's a flash of light, there's an office in the background, so Jane decides to go and check it out and see what she can find. What she finds is a group photo that includes this girl named Megumi, and on the back of it, it says that Ben was the photographer. While she's there, she also sees an apparition of Megumi. So Jane confronts Ben, who admits to her that he did know Megumi and the two of them actually dated. It was a normal relationship until Megumi's father died and she just started declining and became absolutely obsessed with Ben. Ben didn't know what to do, so he went to his two friends, Adam and Bruno, for help. And Ben tells Jane that Adam and Bruno spoke to Megumi and then she left him alone, and that's where it's at. So Jane is upset and she's like, we have to find this girl, like we have to get her to leave us alone. So they go to Megumi's apartment where they find a completely decomposed corpse surrounded by cyanide poisoning. So she killed herself by ingesting poison. They then go to talk to Bruno, who they find just completely psychotic, and he throws himself off his balcony and kills himself in front of them. And then we see Ben's other friend Adam is doing this photo shoot with this girl. And as he's going to take a picture of her, he sees an apparition show up in the camera and it literally just comes through the camera and impales him through the eye and he dies. And then one night while they're in bed, Megumi's spirit attacks Ben. She tries to choke Ben and she attacks Jane when she tries to help, but ultimately she stops and lets Ben live. So Jane and Ben end up going to Megumi's funeral because Jane thinks they should for closure, and after that they end up going back to New York because they're like, fuck this place. But one day Jane is home alone and she's looking through some photos that shows Megumi walking into their closet and she thinks that it's a sign. So Jane goes into the closet where sure enough she finds a lockbox that she manages to pry open, and inside of it is a video camera. And on the camera, she finds a video of Adam and Bruno SAing Megumi as Ben records and watches and does nothing. And this is what ultimately made her kill herself, not her obsession with Ben. And that's why Ben refused to translate what the psychic had said, because he must have said the truth and he didn't want to confess that to Jane. But when Ben comes home that night, Jane confronts him and was like, Megumi was trying to warn me, like, you're a fucking pig, fuck you, and she leaves. And this motherfucker is just left in absolute shambles. He's freaking out and he takes his Polaroid camera and starts taking pictures all around the apartment to try and find where Megumi is because he knows that she's going to show up. He takes a bunch of pictures and he's getting more and more angry because they're developing and she's not there. He can't find her. Until he drops the camera and it takes a photo of himself accidentally. And when he looks at it, she's on his fucking shoulders. She's been there the whole time. This is why he's been having all that neck pain and why his weight was way higher than it should be, because she's literally been on him the whole time. So Ben is horrified and his only thought of what to do to try and get rid of her is to electrocute himself, which he does. Camera cuts and sometime later we see that Ben is now in the hospital, just completely catatonic. And he's alone in the room, but when the door swings shut, we can see his reflection and we see that Megumi is still indeed with him, and the movie ends. So this movie is a remake, and I will say the original Thai version I think is scarier. I'm just more familiar with this one, but the plots are the same.